You can
This
see.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, in the last session we discussed about the while and do while, about the loop, how the while loop works and how the do while loop works. And in one of the interview question recently, one of our student is attended, and they asked what is the difference between the while and do while loop. So luckily we discussed on some time before, and he has able to answer it. So try to remember the difference between the while and do while. Okay, so let's go to other loop, which is for loop. Okay, so here in the for loop, right? The for loop. Okay, we need to understand one more thing. When to use for loop, when to use while loop. Can anyone tell me? For loop and all, when we know um, how many number of iterations we need to do, how many number of iterations. Like I need to do 10 iterations, I need to do 20 iterations, I need to do 100 iterations. That kind of uh, information we have, and that you want to iterate based on the number of iterations, we'll go with the for loop. We will go with the for loop. But while loop, based on some condition. Yeah, you may ask, sir, even for loop also we will be giving the condition, but here while loop we will not be will not be incrementing the within the bracket. I mean, upfront first we will be checking the condition. Upfront we will be checking the condition, we will be doing increment. Both while and for loop are meant for loop through, iterate number of iterations or number of executing the set of code number of times. But most of the cases in the generally in the real time, when you know the number of iterations, we'll go with the for loop. When you know the condition, based on the some condition, we will go with the while loop. But no, while we are executing small programs, we'll say I less than 10, I greater than 10, like kind of conditions in the while loop. But while is actually meant for the different purpose. The while loop, the purpose of the while loop, when you have a expression or when you have a condition, it can be count condition, it can be anything. Let's say if the student pass, then only do some operation. Then only do some operation. If something, if salary is greater than something, and do that operations. So such kind of condition is there, we will go with the while loop. And when we will go with the do while, irrespective of the condition, whether the condition is success or failure, I want to execute iteration at least once. I want to execute iteration at least once. Then we will go with the do while. Do while, first to do, then check the condition. Do while is something like first to do, then check the condition. That's the purpose of the do while. When it comes to the for loop, when it comes to the for loop is when you know the number of iterations. I want to first to 20 iterations or first to 10 iterations. When you know that kind of number of iterations, we will go with the loop for loop. Okay, so try to look at here. Let me start command window. You can either write a program, or you can also execute in the you can also execute in your terminal. Okay, scala for here. If you look at the code here, in other programming languages, so why I'm trying to compare with other programming languages, you'll easily remember, okay, or easily you'll understand. That's the reason. In other programming language, we will be having our for loops will be like this: for initialize, then condition, then increment or decrement. Then we will be having some kind of set. You will be having like this. So what you will be doing, either this installation will be there within the for or outside the for, and you will be having condition, and you will be having increment or decrement. It can be pre-increment or post-increment. It can be pre-decrement or post-decrement. You'll be having such kind of thing. But here, when it comes to Scala, you'll not be having initialize. You'll directly take x, and this is a, we can call it as a rocket, but it's a reverse one. It's a reverse rocket. So when we say 1 to 10, this x variable is getting initialized every time. First 1 will go, second time 2 will go, third time 3 will go. It means it will be initializing one by one. So that is a simple syntax for loop. Okay, let me explain here. For no need to be x, you can take anything. So I like to take yearly. Yearly is element. I mean to say 1 to 10. 1 to 10. See the statement. So you're not going to specify array, or you're not going to specify something. You're saying that 1 to 10. I need iterations 1 to 10. It means 1 to 10 times I need iteration. Then you can say println. I'm just printing here. Oh, sorry. Mistake, I pressed enter. Closed. Yearly value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. 10. Look at here. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. So that's the reason we got this output. Let's say until 10. There is one more like this. Okay. Look at here, guys, the difference. What happened when I use until? Until. So it is not printed the 10. It is stopped at the 9. So there's a difference between 2 and until. Try to remember the difference. Here, when you use the 2, it includes the upper bound. When you use until, it excludes the upper bound. It excludes the upper bound. Okay. This is one type of loop when you know the number of iterations how you want to do. Is this clear? Is this clear? When use to keyword, when you use until keyword, when you use the to keyword, when you use until keyword. Okay, if you're clear about this, let's move to the next. When you have a list of elements, we haven't discussed about what is a list, what is the array and all, but try to remember, try to what I can say, try to understand. You have a collection of elements. Let's say list. Either it can be list, it can be array, it can be array. You have some elements here. Let's say I'll go with string this time. Okay, I have list of elements. I can say what I mean to say, array of elements. Okay, these elements I want to loop through. These elements I want to iterate through. So people may ask, I have a collection of elements, how will you iterate? So you can iterate. Simple, very simple, what I meant to say, syntax. For your initial value, Then you specify your list, nothing else. Okay, you just specify your list. You really no need to specify your range also, because it's already known what is the starting position and what is the end position. It's already known. Okay, you just to specify for element and your list. It automatically takes what is the start position, what is the end position. Okay, this is one way of doing it. You're writing explicitly the for loop. There is other way of writing it. Like this, like this. This and this both are same. Okay, these two are same. You have written multiple lines, and you have written single line. Both are same. Okay, next. Any doubts so far? Please let me know if you have any doubt. Okay, if no doubts, let's move on to the next example. So far what I have done, I have printed the sequence numbers. I have printed the sequence numbers. 1, 2, 3, or sequence order. I don't want to go with the sequence order. I want to skip by one number. I want to skip by one number. I want to skip by two numbers, or I want to skip by three numbers. I want to skip by four numbers. So whatever the number you want to skip, you'll just write like this. Till here it's a normal common for loop, and when you say by 2, by 3, by 4, like that, it will print the different values. Let me tell this. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. You guys can see, look at this. If I do the same thing for by 3, 1, 4, 7, 10. By 3 something like skipping how many values? Started with 1, skip 3 values, then print the fourth value. Okay, next. Guys, if you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so you can actually do the filter. We'll call it as a filter condition. While looping itself, you can write your condition. While looping, if you want to write your own condition, you can print like this. So what will happen here? First, x will assign with 1, then condition will go. This is equivalent to your writing in for loop. This is equivalent to inside the for loop you're writing into this. But here itself you can write like how let me say how you specified by 2, by 3, like that. Similar kind of example here it is. Okay, if x modulo by 2 equal to 0 and x modulo by itself equal to 0, and you want to take that value, otherwise you don't want to take. Okay, look at this. I'm taking 1 to 50, which modulo by 0, and it should divisible by itself. Obviously every element will be divisible by itself. I just want to check the I just want to show you the condition. Not only one condition, you can keep the multiple condition, or you can use the R condition also here. Okay, to just to demonstrate that only not only one condition, you can have a multiple conditions. 2, 4, 6, 8. So not only one condition, you can have multiple condition. You can also have a single condition. You can also have a single condition. This time, let's say by 5, like this. Okay, you can write your own if condition. I can filter it out. Are you guys making a note of it? We are seeing the varieties of the loops. Variety of the loop for loop. Next, I mean, you can do any condition. You can check the condition here. Next, if you write like this, it is a nested for loop. If you write like this, it's a nested for loop. Loop, you have one more loop. Okay. Writing. X value 1. So how the nested for loop works? First, outer loop will start, then go inside. Till inner loop is completes, outer loop will not be completed. That's the reason 1. Inner loop is 10 to 13. Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's what I want to look for. So that's the reason your outer loop is 1, 1, 10, again 1, 11, 1, 12, 1, 13. So it means the outer loop will not be completed until the first inner loop is completed. Our outer loop will not be completed until inner loop is completed. Okay, look at this. This is how our nested for loops will be written. Loop inside the loop. Similarly, you can write like this also. You can write explicitly like this also. You can have your own separate statements for the outer loop. You can have your separate statements for the inner loop. I'm thinking everyone is making a note of it. I'm assuming that everyone is making a note of it. I'm assuming it everyone is making a note of it. If anyone is not, please let me know. Please make a note of it. You can roughly make a note in your notes, then later you try your own. So that's how you'll improve your the programming practice hands-on or whatever you call. outer loop, then inner loop. Okay. Look at here the output. X value is 1. It means outer loop is started and inner loop is 10 to 15. So it means your inner loop is still completes, the outer loop is not started. I could have say outer loop, inner loop. First outer loop will be initialized until the inner loop is completed. The outer loop will not be started again. Next. Okay, so far we have just written or loop through the iterate through the some elements. We just iterated through some elements. There is something called your loop also can be return a value. Your loop also can return a value. Okay, it is the most important interview question. What is the yield in Scala? This is the interview question. Same yield in threads in Java. Okay, but here the yield is different. Here what it does, while you are iterating through the elements, you can return that iterated value. It can return that iterated value. Line number 69 to 78, please look at the thing. Yield is nothing but when you want to return a data or a value from or iterated value from the loop, it will do that. Okay, let me execute this. It is iterated and returned. Return value from loop, that's a variable, right? It returned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I do same thing for okay, look at here guys. Let's say how will you close it? You don't have a close, so it is actually expecting yield. Okay, it is actually expecting yield. But I'll say suppose if I go and say res, there won't be any values in it. It won't return. So let's write in this way. So normally I have told earlier like the last expression is the return value. Even if you write like it will not with it won't return a value. It won't, your res will not be having any value in it. If your res should get a value, you have to go with your yield. You have to go with the yield. yield. So if we print res, it will print like this. If we try to print res, it will return a value. Okay, please make a note of this. And you want to return through and you want to uh, give, you can do that. So far we have seen the numbers. Okay, so you can also write like this. You guys can try this example. It's a very simple one. Here something is missing. One more bracket. Okay. Okay. My list is in above list we have taken if I print list, you get ABCD. But list suppose not supposed to be ABCD. Here we are taking modulo, right? So it has to be number. So let's list. Then execute this. This is the last expression is in a return value. I into 10. Last expression is in return value. I 10, 20, 30, 40 and we're multiplying by 10. So your RES is contains this. Any questions so far? Any
Ravi, here
questions?
we just multiplied I with 10 and it has the list has been changed.
Sorry?
I mean, here we are multiplying I into 10
Hmm.
and then it has changed the values inside the list. So, I mean, any operation that will be done with
It is
the
not changed
element,
inside the list. It's not changed inside the list. Where it is changed
then,
inside the list? Your list has the same values 10, 20 only. Your list has a 10, 20, 30, 40
yeah,
that
yeah,
values.
REF.
RES is the result, whatever your variable.
Mm-hmm.
It's created a new list with these values. I
Okay.
initially 10, 10 into 10, 100. So the
Mm-hmm.
first in the RES, the first value is 100. The next loop,
Mm-hmm.
I is 20, 20 into 10, 200, 30 into 10, 300, 40 into 10, 400, like that. It is not modify the existing list. Your list is already there as usual.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Yeah, list
created.
is also there.
It's created a new collection or new list of elements.
Can you print RES again? Yeah, okay. Understood. Yeah.
Okay, you have to um, try a couple of times, then only you'll remember these examples. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? So this is something like just a method. Okay, to demonstrate how the methods will work. But methods we'll see in the next session. But now we'll see something else. So here you are checking some condition. Here A to F. So far we have seen 1 to 10 like that, right? You can also give the alphabets. Look at here how it will work. What I'm trying to do condition here, if I equal to c, then only you take the return value, otherwise you don't take. You have a to f, a b c d e f and all you have, but when you need to return, if I equal to c, a b c, so if it is a c, then only you take the value, others you don't take the value. So whatever is not written, they are called unit. This brackets, what are the brackets we are seeing, the empty parenthesis, right? This empty parenthesis will call unit. It means it returned anything. It's not written anything. Empty. Unit return type. Unit type. Okay. If you don't have this condition, it will iterate everything. If you don't have this condition, it will iterate everything. So every time it will print a high scala, high scala, high scala. Try these examples. Try these examples. Any questions so far before we get into the next uh, next concept? Do you guys have any queries? Any questions? Okay. So like in other programming languages, in Scala also we have something called break and continue. Break and continue. So here there is something called, you need to specify this. It will dot control dot breaks. It means you are making use of a break statement in your code. It means that you are making use of the break statement in your code. What is this? What is a break statement? At the certain operation, I want to break the loop. So loop is a continuous iterations, right? Loop is a continuous iteration. And when I do the condition, based on the condition, it will work. But I want to stop the break. I want to stop the loop. I don't want to I don't want to proceed further statements. I just want to break it. Okay. When you want to stop execution or skip execution, what we will do? We will use the break. Okay. So if you look at here an example, I'm saying this a breakable. This block of code is a breakable. There is something called break has been used internally. It means there is something called breakable. There is a possibility it may break. Okay. So you're specifying it. There is a possibility it can be break. What I'm trying to do here, whenever it is modulo 0, I'll take it not 5, I'll take it 10. Okay, more. So do one thing. Let me first execute this into my console. Okay. Now I'm going to execute this. The code is, you have a one loop. It is looping through 1 to 10. But whenever it is modulo by 2 is equal to 0, it means successfully, when it is successfully modulo or divisible by 2, then I'm breaking it. I don't want to print it. I don't want to print it. I just want to skip it. Okay, let's look at what will happen. Look at this, what happened. When it is successfully broke, 1, no, 2. When it is when it's become 2, when it's become 2, if you observe closely, high value 1. So I mod 1 modulo by 2. It's not successful. division. Then it came to else part. So it is printed. When I equal to 1, it is printed I am from the else of the break. So when I became 2, when I became 2, 2 modulo 2, yes, successfully divisible. So then it's break. It came out. That's the reason it's not printed anything. I3, I4, I5, I6 and all is not printed. So it is broke. It came out. It exit from the loop. It is exited from the loop. Try to understand the code. It started from the main. So the first line number 8, I value 1. So 1 is not successfully divisible by 2. So it went to else break, else statement. Then I became 2. So I successfully divisible by 2. Then it came out from the loop. Look at the code and output. Any questions, please ask me. Else we can go with the next example. If you don't have a break statement, it will continue. It will continue, right? Okay, 2 will be divisible, 4 will be divisible, 6 will be divisible, 8 will be divisible, 10 will be divisible. So whatever you do with it, that will be. So since you are using a break statement, it will break the loop. Look at here. I don't know. This is something like when I have two loops, inner and outer loops. When I have inner and outer loops, so you can separately break outer loop. You can separately break inner loop. You can separately break outer loop. You can separately break inner loop. That's the reason I have taken two different objects from the break. Inner break, outer break. There are two breaks I have taken. The breaks is a class. It's a class. Okay. I'm breaking this class. I mean, I'm making use, I'm extending, or I'm creating object to this. Inner object, outer object. So since I want to break out or inner, so that's the reason I have, suppose if I call outer break, it will break. If I call inner break, it will break this one. So that's the reason. Look at here. I1 2 3, J1 to 5, J1 to 5. If I equal to 3 and J equal to 3, when both are 3, and I is 3 and J is 3, when both are 3, then I'm breaking the inner loop. I'm breaking the inner loop. Else, it just print I and J values. Else it will print when both are 5. I cannot be 5 because I just we are doing 3 only. Okay, I cannot be 5. And when J5, it will break. Look at here this output. When I1 J1, nothing happened. When I1 J2, nothing happened. And I1 J3, nothing happened. So nothing happened here. Similarly, when I2 J1, there is also nothing happened. Okay, but look at here. When 3, I became 3. This is 1. I became 3. Y became 2. I became 3 comma 3. The next statement is 3 comma 3 only. So when is it I3 and J3, you are broken the inner loop. Okay, that's the reason it's not printed anything. Please have a look, quickly take a note.
Already, I have
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
one doubt. Actually, after the
Hmm.
main, are you able to hear now?
Yeah,
Val inner is equal to new breaks, right? So break
your voice is completely breaking. I understand only val
class
inner
is
equal
a
to
tip.
new breaks. After that, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, breaks about where? Yeah, breaks in class. Yeah, breaks is a new class or yes. What is that?
Breaks is a class I have shown, right?
Hello.
It's a predefined class. It's not written by me. It is an existing class.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, actually, okay, fine. Right.
It's a predefined class. Okay. Next, let me go with the next example. This is a similar example. This is a similar example. Breakable, breakable. You just did the inner break. And this is outer loop. This is outer loop. This is inner loop. Just run this one. So look at the condition. First, try to understand the logic. When I E3 and J2, then only you are breaking. When I3, J2, then only you are breaking. Look at here. I1. It's inner loop. Okay, we have to say like this. It's inner loop. No, I value. I could say I value from outer. J value. Hmm. We are in inner loop. So println statement is inner loop only. Outer loop we have one more printer. Outer loop we have one more println. That's print after completing the inner loop, right? So inner loop. Look at here. I value is 1 and J value is 1. And I value is 1 and J value is 2. I value is 1, J value is 3. So first time no issues because J 3 times only. Second, outer loop printed. Second, I became 2, no doubt. I became 2, J became 1, 2, 3, no doubt. Now I became 3. I became 3. And when I became 3, J is 1, nothing happened. When I became 3 and J is 2, J is 2, I'm breaking it. When I break it, so even though if I have a nested loop, when I break inner loop, it is completely broken both the loops. It's completely broken the both the loops, and it came out the main. Even though I has a 4 and 5, it didn't execute it. So if you want explicitly break which loop you want to break, if you want to break explicitly which loop you want to break, you can use like this, or if you use like this, what will happen? It will be break completely. Okay. If you want to break in a specific loop, you can go with that way. If you want to break normal, if you break it, both the loops will be broken. Okay. So that is about some basics. We can move to uh, uh, directly functions and all we can see. If you guys have any questions, please ask me. In the next session, we'll start with the methods. We'll start with the methods.
I
So
mean,
in
this
the same
yield method can be used for other loops also. It's for only for loop.
for loop only we'll use.
Only for loop.
Yes. Okay. We have some functions here. There are a lot of functions. We'll see. If any questions, please ask me. We can leave for the day. That's it for today. I don't want to start the new concept and I don't want to make you confused. So complete this part, whatever we discussed so far. Tomorrow we'll start with the functions. Tomorrow we'll start with the functions. And there are a lot of functions. There are a lot of different functions, anonymous functions, a lot of things are there. We'll discuss about the functions. Then we'll jump to next oops. After this, we'll jump into oops. Okay, so that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, please ask me. Else, you guys can leave for the day. That's it for today.
Okay, Ravi.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thanks, Ravi. Bye.